Chapter 31. From Geneva Car, sent 12th of October 21:30 GMT. Subject, Iris. Hello, Callum. Tell Rob I haven't been fighting with any crocodiles, but I'll remember to stick one in the eye if I ever do. I'm in hospital because I was hit by a truck. It skidded in the mud in the rainy season and broke my legs. I'm in plaster waiting for them to mend. I miss my village, but it's not so bad here in hospital. I make friends with the new children that come into the ward. I pretend I'm a doctor and try to guess what's wrong with them. In the evening, Max sits on my bed and shows me pictures from his medical textbooks. He knows I want to be a doctor one day. He says he hopes I won't be as scary as Mama Binta, though. Mariama bought me some schoolwork and chicken yassa yesterday, so I'm 2 times lucky. Chicken yassa is her special recipe, my favourite. Mariana helped to look after me when I was little, after my mother died. But she is also our school teacher too. I did an hour of maths with her. It was so much fun. Missing school is the worst thing about being in hospital. Max has taken some pictures of my village to send to you. I hope you like the one of the fish my little brother caught for Iris. What is Scotland like? Max said it's cold and wet and people only eat something called haggis. What is haggis anyway? I will send you news of Iris every day. Your friend, Geneva. I showed Rob and Ewan the email and photos next day at school. She's crazy, said Rob. I'd go and break my legs just to have time off school. Now that's what I call a fish, said Ewan. Imagine hauling that in. The photo showed a young boy no older than 7 or 8 holding up a long silver fish. The boy had to stand on tiptoes to keep the tail off the floor. I flicked over the other pictures. Max had taken photos of Geneva's village. There were lots of small round huts and red brick buildings set around an open enclosure. The sky looked deep, deep blue, and the earth looked rust red, dry and dusty. Under a fat-bellied tree sat a group of men hidden by the shade. In the open sunlight, women in brightly patterned clothes laid out fruits and vegetables to sell. The last one was of Iris, in Max's shed. It explains why we can't get a signal from Iris, said Ewan, if she's in a dark shed. You can actually see the transmitter on her back and the long aerial poking out, said Rob. She'd be dead by now if it wasn't for that. I agreed. She'll get better now, I said. I just know she will. We could send Geneva some photos of Scotland, said Ewan. That's a great idea. We can take a photo of Iris's nest, I said. I'll ask Mum to lend us her camera after school. Mum was in the kitchen doing the farm accounts at the table. She handed us a small digital camera she kept in her handbag. Make sure you take some of yourselves, she said. Geneva will want to know what you all look like. Graham leaned across the table and helped himself to another huge piece of chocolate cake. She doesn't want to see Callum's ugly mug, he said, dropping sticky crumbs over the accounts. It might crash the computer again. I'm surprised they have any computers out in Uganda anyway. The Gambia, I said. Everywhere's got computers now. Mum flicked the crumbs from the paper. You're not doing much at the moment, are you, Graham? Make yourself useful and take Callum and his friends out in the Land Rover to take photos of the farm before it gets dark. Graham rolled his eyes. Come on, then, he said. He picked up the Land Rover keys and headed out of the door. Graham took us all over the farm. We were suddenly rally drivers. I'm sure Mum would have had a fit if she had seen some of his handbrake turns. But we did get some great photos of the farm. Graham took a picture of us with the mountains in the background, and I photographed Iris's Airy on the island in the loch. When we got back to the farmhouse, Mum had defrosted a haggis from the freezer for us, and we photographed that too. Later that evening, I downloaded the photos on the computer and attached them to an email. I pressed the send button and our photos of Scotland went flying through cyberspace in a fraction of a second, all the way to Geneva and Iris, all the way to Africa. Each day after that, Geneva wrote about Iris and sent more photos that Max had taken. Iris looked stronger as the days went by. Her feathers became shiny and glossy. There was a picture of her standing on a piece of wood, preening. It had to be a good sign. The old wound on her foot looked better too. The first picture showed a thick lump of red flesh caked in dirt, and the skin of her foot had been mottled and dark. But now, nearly 2 weeks later, the pictures showed the wound had almost healed. Max had also taken more photos and short video clips of the village and the river. It made me feel as if I was really there. I could almost imagine myself walking down to the wide green river where the long wooden fishing boats lay on the low tide mud. I could almost feel the hot African sun on my face and hear the sounds of the village, of children playing and women pounding sorghum and millet. I was almost there. Almost. That night there was one more email waiting for me. From Geneva Carr, sent 25th of October 2040 GMT. Subject Iris. Hello Callum. Tomorrow is a very good day. Max has decided to set Iris free. He says she is strong now and needs to go back to the wild. He is going to release her at sunrise, so she has the whole day to catch fish. Dr. Jawara said he is taking the cast off my legs tomorrow, so I'll be free too. I'm too excited to sleep, but Mama Binta said if I go to sleep, she will let me see Max release Iris tomorrow. I think maybe Mama Binta isn't as fierce as she pretends to be. I will write with good news tomorrow night. Your friend, Geneva.